This week's episode of Gundam Build Fighters Try was a massive build-up to the final battle between Team Tri-Fighters and Team Celestial Spear. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I want the main characters of this series to actually lose the main tournament. They need to learn a little bit about humility, despite the fact that over the course of this entire season, they truly have grown as characters, with Fumina Hoshino loving Gundam even more, Yuma actually recognizing his weaknesses, and Sekai actually being able to become stronger and meet greater rivals. I firmly believe that Team Tri-Fighters should lose this tournament. This should totally be a case of the Bad News Bears, where Team Celestial Sphere ends up winning the entire tournament. The only reason I say that is because at the end of the first season, Tatsuya Yuki was sort of forced to become the bad guy at the very end of the show when they forced him to wear that freaky deaky helmet. At the end of this series, it's just two teams who are fighting, both in it in all honest earnesty, except for the character of Ado Saga. Apparently, he's going into this battle with a hurt wrist, at least according to his doctor at the very end of this week's episode, which was a scene that was really kind of shocking. But really, this whole episode was just a build-up to the final battle. The very end of the episode literally starts the battle, and that's about it. But there are some interesting things about this episode. I did love the scene where Yuma decided to take over building their Gunpla. He took away the star-winning, the Tri-Burning Gundam and his Lightning Gundam Fulburnian and began to work on them all night long. And then Minato Sakai came in, ended up helping him out, and there's a really funny scene where they're arguing with each other, and they're still building at the same time at incredible speeds. There's also a pretty cool scene where Sekai runs into Junya Inose, and this is what I thought was maybe another good way to introduce their master, but I'm kind of convinced at this point that they're probably not even going to reveal the master, and that the whole silhouette of Domon was just to illustrate that their, master was just a badass in every sense of the word, without actually having to show you anything about him. Gundam fans are certainly going to get it, but the scene with Junya's interesting, because Junya just starts randomly fighting him out of nowhere and pulling out techniques that even Sekai's never seen before, but this is actually to teach him some new moves, which I'm guessing he is going to use in the final battle of the series, which, frankly, I can't wait to see how that's really going to play out. But until we get there, it's pretty much just all build-up. But my favorite scene from this week's episode was probably the most briefest, and it's a scene that involves China Kosaka, and she seems to be in France with Sei Iori. I only say that because it looks like you see the Eiffel Tower in the background, and they seem to be in some nice fancy hotel, and what is really interesting about this scene is you only see China, she asks for Sei to come watch the finals, but then they show the table, and there are 4 cups of tea, which leads me to believe that Reiji and Ayla Jyrkiainen are probably right there with them actually watching the tournament. I really can't wait to see how that's going to play out, and I really hope the final episode is going to be exciting, and I pray it opens things up for a 3rd season. I want more Gundam Build Fighters. I want to see more of these characters and more of the new ones. And just another little, fan moment that I thought was really cool. I love the fact when they actually showed you the 3 twins. I love that they had these Zeta Gundam movie trilogy posters right behind them. It fits really well. Just the fact that they actually kind of look like Camille Bidan is pretty awesome. So what's the rundown? On this week's episode of Gundam Build Fighters Try, it's just a build-up episode. Nothing more, nothing less, but it was still a good episode that got me really pumped up, especially at the very end of the episode. Every single time they're getting ready to start a battle and you hear the "please set your GP base, Plasky particle dispersal," I get goosebumps all over my body when that stuff happens. And when it's the final battle of the freaking series, you know I'm going to get excited. Especially because pretty much everybody who's been a part of the series pretty much shows up at the end for a nice little cameo getting ready to watch. Aside from freaking the team they fought in the beginning, which is kind of disappointing. I would like to see them again. But despite that, this was a nice build-up episode, but nothing too mind-blowing. Unfortunately, it probably is my least favorite episode of the entire series, but it's still not a bad episode at all. It basically just reinforces what the characters have learned over the course of the season and who they're going to be fighting against. This team that really are not villainous at all. It's really interesting that they didn't try to go for an antagonist or villainous angle in this show whatsoever. The closest they got to that was Junya Inose, and they completely turned him into sort of just a side sort of anti-hero character. And there was another scene with him and Akira where they were walking together and he was in his car and he got into another car crash. Just Can we cut that scene and get like a gunpla battle or something? I don't know. I was hoping there would be like a training sequence in this week's episode, but really nothing. Just setting up the big rivalries between all of the characters. And frankly, I'm just excited. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with the finale. So there it is. That's my thoughts on this week's episode. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Just an average episode that's a big build-up for the final battle of Gundam Build Fighters Try. Are you guys excited? What do you want to see in the final battle? Tell me in the comment section below. Let's get ready to set your GP base, disperse plasky particles, and get fighting! Thank you guys for watching the review. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. Thank you guys again for watching, and stay dandy, baby.